Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I've got this Kingston steel up here. Just stood it up, got the legs on it. I'm gonna flip the head up here. And so this is a repair. My instructions are basically make it work. I'll probably, yeah, it's gonna have to have new rubbers. Just a superficial cleaning, make it work. Keep the budget down as low as I can. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I have really no idea what the status of this thing is. So we'll see. I'm gonna get the head up and then we'll go from there. So here's the back box. It's got the, oh, there's a wire loose. That's, need to be fixed. So I'm getting to repin all that. That'll be fun. Original caps. Looks like the original board is not all corroded, which is kind of amazing, given that's like, looks like the original battery. I did notice there's 4 chips down here. 6800, so it'd be off. So somebody was playing around trying to get this thing to work at one point or another. Don't know if they were successful. So I'm guessing this thing is not going to boot up. Looks like this has got the rectifier and transformer down in the bottom of the cabinet. But otherwise, things, I mean, the caps are all original. Things look pretty unmolested. The Playfield, a fair amount of wear, a couple of spots. That's a kind of a weird spot to have that wear, and I don't know why it would have it right in the middle like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, I do remember that thing. So that doesn't work. And yeah, that's one way to keep the ball from getting stuck in there. That flipper's not quite happy. Couple sacks. Some little nuts and bolts and like a conduit and what. A couple of them. Oh, a coil. Well, somebody's in the process of going to fix something. 2 lug. I wonder if that's the coil for that saucer up there. I wouldn't know. Some instructions. Oh, there's some more coils. Yeah, okay, there's a flipper, 2 flipper coils and another coil. Let me get the glass off. There's probably all kinds of stuff underneath. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff down here. There's the manual. Some random instruction cards, bulbs, maybe some Wildcat. CP 1000 or 100, Gemini Chemical Company. I bet if you lived in California, that'd give you cancer. Another house. They got one house for the door. Jeez, just like, that's rude. No screws in the side of the cabinet. Some lamps, top of the coin box, and what state is that? State of Illinois. Well, it's a reasonable state for a pinball to reside in. Oh, here's the original coin mech. Or not the coin mech, but the coin lock. Anyway, not much else. Bottom of the Playfield. Looks alright. I don't see any coils that are all smoked or anything. I don't see any new coils. Well, that's a new coil there. Yeah, I think it is. It's got a nice green wrapper. The rest of them are all old and yellow. So, I don't know. I'm tempted, before I do too much, is go ahead and plug the outputs from this rectifier board. Plug it in and see if I've got my voltages coming out of it before I send some kind of crazy current up the boards. So these slightly more modern Bally rectifier boards, they're basically the same as the old ones. They're just different layout and everything's got a plug. So I went and unplugged it, unscrewed it. So I'm gonna take it to the bench and check it out. And now they dropped a screw there. I'll grab that, reflow the solder on it. It needs it, and check the rectifiers, check the diode, just make sure it's all kosher, and check the fuses. I can do it all on the bench real easy. So I went ahead and yanked this first one because I saw it's 15 amp, and that is, I don't know what size it is, but it's a slow blow. Switched the wrong one, and this is also a slow blow. And you can tell because it's got that little spring on there. Those are all slow blows. That's a slow blow. That's a slow blow. Oh, somebody had that defeated. They had the little paper clip in there. That one might actually be correct. It says it's a 20 amp. That looks like a 20 amp. I believe it is. And this one, I checked it with I checked them all with the multimeter real quick. They were all good except for this one. It's blown. So, you know, that's good. So, I might check what's going to there. So the first thing I'm going to do here is check all these diodes and the rectifiers, which are just more diodes in the shape of a square. So put the positive on the non-banded side. You see my multimeter is 0.516, that's good. Anything 0.4 to 0.7, they really ought to be all the same. So that one's a little bit off. See, normally you'd say that's good, but maybe it's not, because it's significantly different than the other three. They're all 0.51, 0.5, and this one's 0.46. I'm gonna leave it for now, but that does give me questions. So I always forget, negative on the positive or positive on the negative. Yeah, okay, negative on the positive, and the other one on the two ACs, and you get 0.48. 0.48, and then take the other side, put the positive on the negative one, and then do the other two ACs, 0.5 and 0.5, and I'm going to do that for these other two also. Those all look good. You know, this is your high voltage here. Can't really see them all, but all the bands, oh, that's a resistor. So the bands are on the top for y'all. 0.56, 0.56. 0.56 and 0.56. So those all look good. If we want, we can measure across these resistors, just make sure they're not open. 27 ohms, that seems about right. Probably printed on there somewhere. It says 25 on the side, so that seems about right. This one says 600 on it, and I'm reading the 0. Let me get on the back of the board, see if I can. Might just be dirty. Actually, I'm on continuity, so it's not 600 ohms. Yeah, 626. Okay, so nothing real glaring. That one is a little bit suspect, but not too bad. If money was not an object, I'd consider swapping out these fuse holders because they're very tarnished. But given my instructions, I am gonna give it the quick little jobber with a brass brush, and that would give it another 20 to 30,000 miles, guaranteed. Guarantee with an asterisk. But you can see, look at that one versus that one, and I don't know if it's showing up on the screen, but it's considerably better. Don't discount what a brass brush can do for you. It'll take it from a 3 to a 7. Not going to get it to a 10, not even an 8. I don't know if it's a 7, 3 to a 6 maybe. How about that? Sometimes a 6 is all you really want or need, or can justify paying for it, because this is not a valuable game. So I looked real quickly at the solder on the back of this board, and that actually, I don't see any issues. You don't get as many issues with this style of plug because they just don't get wrenched on. So I don't think I'm gonna do anything else, except I'm gonna put all new fuses in there because every one of them was wrong. Well, there was the one, the 20 amp. I think this was it. If I can read it. Busman 20. Boom. Okay, so I'm gonna go fill this thing up with fuses. throw back into the game. I'm going to plug in the left side, leave the right side unplugged, and I'm going to measure all these test points. There should be 5 voltages, and we'll see if we got them all 5. All right, I got my fuse reinstalled. I got one end of my multimeter on the ground. I'm going to turn the game on. I think I heard a little hum. I'm not sure. And I'm going to put on voltage. It's on voltage. I'm going to test some voltages here. 8 volts. So that's the controlled lights. 45. That is the solenoid voltage. 15. That's the 12 that gets turned into the 5 volts. TP2, 183, that's the high voltage for the displays. I'm missing one, which is the AC. I just switched my multimeter to AC. I don't see it. Shoot. Which one is it? Let me find it here. Yeah, that's it. There, TP4. And I've got 7 volts. So I've got all my voltages right now. So the question is, when I plug stuff up, it's gonna pop. But before I plug that up, I'm gonna disconnect most of the stuff from the head. So I'm gonna shut this or drop this. Actually, I probably don't need to. Yeah. Let me drop this. Get down, stand. Sorry for yanking y'all around. Oh. Okay. So the 12 volt comes in on this one. This regulates it down to 5 volts and spreads it through the world. I'm going to go ahead and unplug this. That's where the voltage of the 12 volts and the 5 volts comes in on there. This is where the 5 volts comes in here. That's just an extra board for lamps. I guess I'll unplug the soundboard too. So I'm gonna plug everything in. I guess I got my high voltage hooked up too. I don't know what that is going to. We're just gonna leave that there for now. No clue. But I'm gonna plug in all those plugs on the rectifier board. And then I should be able to check my voltages, hopefully get a 5 volts and like a regular, and what that 180 or 5 or whatever we measured down there, it will, once it gets hooked up to this capacitor, it'll go up to like 220 or something like that. So if we measure right here, it'll be like 220, and then we should be able to regulate it down on this one here to like 175-ish, something like that, if this section is working. And so we'll see. So let me raise the Playfield, plug everything in. All right, so I got the outputs, the rectifier board plugged in there. I'm gonna turn it on, watch fuses, see if one pops right away. Did not. Actually, I think I had the game already, I'd never turned it off, so I think the game was plugged in, or turned on when I plugged in those. So I think we're ready to go. Yeah, I got GI lights on, so that's good. Got GI lights here. Got GI lights here. Not going to be getting any blinks because I unplugged that board. Need to measure here, see if I've got 5 volts and the high voltage, see if those 2 voltages are working. So I got my multimeter on DC. I got one in on the ground braid. Let's see, I should have like 12 or 15 coming in here. I've got 11.5. That seems a little low. I could really drag it down until we've got the 5. Should have 5 right there. 4.2, that's not right. Yeah, I was thinking that should be like 13 or something, so something is yanking it down too far. Yeah, see it down here, it should have the same, well, even lower, 2.9. So let's check our other voltage up here, so see what that is. 250. So that's what I was telling you about before, that the 185, it's like jumps way up as soon as it sees this capacitor. And let's see if it's regulated down. Clicking this, put it on this other one, 192. That's a little high. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. 190. I'll go a little further. Oh, nailed it. Okay, so I should see a little dot on these displays. If any of them have any life, I see, usually there's a little orange dot. I see nothing. They may all be dead. They look pretty decent. That one's got a little bit of funniness looking, but the rest of them look like pristine. So we'll see. I think the next thing that we got to do here is yank this solenoid driver board and find out what the heck is going on with that. Because, yeah, it's not making 5 volts. It's making 4.2, and that's never going to work. Okay, so I got this board up on the bench. Right away, I'm suspect to this dude right here. Because this is what makes the 5 volts, and there's not a whole lot else on this board that does that. So, y'all see that? Yeah. Let's see, we got on the dial. Oh, right away. Short. That's not right. Short. Yeah, that's fried. It's short every way you can do it. Oh, I've got on voltage, not diode. Sorry about that. Okay. Ooh, 0.13, that doesn't quite seem right. Okay, so that seems about right. Like 0.6, something like that. That doesn't. 0.6. 0.6, that could be okay. So from 1 to everything is 0.6. From 3, is 3 actually ground? Maybe it is. Yeah, I think it is. I'm gonna get another one of these boards just to compare the measurements. I've got some in the back. So I got a couple of different junk boards because I don't know if these other ones are any good or not. So the question is like between 3 and 2.13. Either way. So I've got this another junk board here. Well, that looks same on that one. Let's try this other one. So that seems normal. Well, that's kind of disappointing because that's what I was hoping it to be, because that'd be easy to swap out and fix it. Let's get the schematics out and see what all's in the circuit besides here. There's not a whole lot in it. So here's the section where we're making the 5 volts. So you get the voltage coming in. You got the big filter capacitor, which I always change those. So that one could be pretty well cooked. Usually they're not. A bunch of little small ceramic resistors, which usually are not, or capacitors, which are usually not a problem. 100 ohm resistor here. I don't think I've ever swapped one of those out. Another cap there, Q25. Doesn't say what size it is. Probably negligible. So, I mean, there's really not that much. So this could still be bad, even though it seems to be testing good. Or I was thinking, you know, we had that one funky diode, and it is what's making this the 12 volts unregulated. So I'm wondering if that's maybe bad biscuit. So for sure, I'm going to swap out this, because I always swap out that, just as kind of preventative maintenance. My question is whether I should swap out this, which is, whether I think it's more likely to be this or that diode in the rectifier board. Kind of leaning towards the rectifier, to be honest. Kind of what I'm thinking. I think that maybe that's where I'll go with it. So I got to thinking to myself, I got these 2 other solenoid driver boards let's throw one of them in there and see what happens. So this is one of those secondary boards that I had. I wasn't sure what the status of it was. And I did the same thing. I measured TP5 here. I had like 12 volts. TP1, which should be 5, it's like 4.3. Exactly the same as the other one, which tells me it's probably not a second one of these 5 volt regulators is bad. It's probably the 12 volt is not strong enough. It's weak in some way or form. So I think that suspicion I had. So it tested kind of technically good, but it was different than the other 3. So I'm thinking that CR5 is a bad biscuit. Place that dial down there. Put the board in here kind of haphazardly. Measured the voltages exactly the same. I'm like, well, I wonder what this thing is. And I measured it, and it's got 0 voltage. I'm like, oh, it's probably the ground. And I don't have this thing grounded. It is the ground. It's got continuity with my ground strap down here. And this, when I pulled that board out for the first time, there were no screws in the board. So it's common. You like this one here, it's got no screws in it. I haven't touched it, but this one also didn't. I'm guilty of doing that. Sometimes I'll work on them. I don't put the screws in it every time because I'm in and out. So it could be that 4.2, the reason is the voltage is always in reference to ground. So this board doesn't know what ground is. So that's why it's goofy. That's probably why I'm not getting the right voltage. And because normally it would at least hit the ground from this, but I'm not positive this is the only ground, but this is a ground and it's obviously missing. But I think if I grounded this board, if I do the ground mods to this board, which I'm going to do here in a second, and then do all the mods I want to do. So I'm going to yank this board out. I'm going to do the mods, and then this won't even be necessary. But I'm going to fix this anyway because I'm going to redo this connector. But just to prove the point, well, we'll see if it proves the point. I'm going to take this. I'm going to do all the mods I normally do, and I think then we'll have the 5 volts without even putting this back in there. That's going to be my little test for myself. We'll see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to go through and do kind of the slightly abbreviated mods. I'm not going to swap out that cap. It's less important than this one. This one regulates the 12 volts, which turns into the 5. So it's good to have good 5 volts. The high voltage, if it's got some noise to it, all it's going to potentially do is make your displays a little wonky, maybe. Not the end of the world. And frankly, I don't usually see even that. So grab a little cap here. Let's say little, it's the same, oops. Shoot. I'm kind of running low on these suckers. It's the same capacity and everything. It's just physically smaller just because they've gotten smaller over the years. Okay, so one of the mods I like to do, it's not nothing I came up with. This, I think Clay Harrell is the one that came up with this, is you dribble a blob of solder from there to, make sure I'm doing the right side. I think that is, yes. From here, that's the negative side of that cap, and this is the negative ground trace. So the high voltage will be inherently grounded to the game when this thing is bolted into the machine. It won't require a connector, which, as we've seen, sometimes is not the best idea to require that. Okay, so that's, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Oh, sorry, this is the 12 volts, yeah. So that 12 volts will be grounded. So that if I plug it back in right now, I think I would measure the 5 volts properly by doing that. And putting a screw in over here. I would have to put a screw in. I'm also going to do the same thing on, this is the cap for the high voltage. So this is the negative side. So I'm just going to put a little jumper between here and the edge of the board here. Just kind of stabilize that voltage. So again, it's not requiring being having a good connector, because the connectors are not good in this game, and I'm not going to replace any that don't really require it. So I'll get a little piece of black wire here, or any wire really. Happen to have a little piece of black here. A little snip and a little snop, and I don't know if I'm even on camera anymore here. Yeah, I guess I am. And one more thing I like to do, which is so this same connector that's all fouled up, it's got a little jumper that goes from about halfway down to this last pin, which takes the 5 volts from where it's made here to the bottom side of this board. So I don't know why they didn't use a staple or something to get it down here, but they didn't. So anyway, I'm going to put a jumper between TP1 and TP3 on the back side of the board. And I believe that's between here and there. Yeah, that's right. And I'll just get a little piece of red wire if I can find some red. And that will stabilize that 5 volts for the bottom side of the bottom half of the board, for all those chips on the bottom half. If this doesn't solve the problem, then I don't know. I guess I'll be damned. Need a little zip tie for that dude. Can get out in the hole. I hate it when I do that. Get them out of phase or 100 degrees. Get your belt on backwards. Okay, there we go. All right, and that is fried. That's been replaced. That one doesn't look like it's been replaced. That's kind of wild. Yeah, it doesn't really look like it's been replaced. That one for sure has. Maybe it has. I don't know. I'm gonna throw it in the game. We'll see if we got our 5 volts, and then we'll move on to maybe the MPU. Okay, so I got the game turned on. I got the plugged in. I purposely left this one, the ground, off for the moment, because I'm going to see what the voltage is first with it off the ground plane. And I'm guessing it's still going to be, you know, like 4.3 volts. Well, got to get it on voltage first. 5.1. Well, what the heck? Well, maybe touching the boards. Oh, I'm probably touching up here. If I get it off of that ground plane, I bet I'm back down to 4.3. 5.1. Well, I can't get it not touching. Huh. Maybe this cap was part of it. It's not. I guess I can't get it to not touch the back plate. Let's just say it's fixed. How about that? I was hoping to be able to show you that basically when it wasn't touching the ground plane, it was 4.3, but I can't get it to hang up there without touching. So anyway, I'm pretty certain that's all it was bad ground, but I'm gonna get to redo that. So the next logical step is to plug this dude in, and if it's gonna work, and I'm kind of doubtful based on all these 6800 chips or 6821. So these are all MPU chips. 6800, what is that? Another 6821. So 6821, 6800, 6821. Somebody was working on this. I'm kind of thinking it's not going to boot. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to plug it in. Off. I'm going to plug this dude in. And like I said, this one's not grounded either. And that could cause, I've had them not boot, but just because of that. But we'll give it a little smoke test right here. Oh, it flickered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's booted. What the heck? Oh yeah, I'm seeing the track lights. I thought I saw some track. How can it do a track lights? I swear I did not make that up. I saw lights come across here. Oh, it might have been this one. It might have been this, the auxiliary lamp board. Because it's like I don't have the lamp board hooked up. There it goes again. See, I'm not going crazy. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. May have sounds and everything now. We'll see. Saw a couple of, oh, I heard a little click from the speaker. Well, let's see what the displays look like. Nothing from the displays. I didn't count the flickers to know if we actually booted this time. I'm hitting the service button here. See if, I don't think we booted. Let me try it again. Huh, we got nothing now. I think we lost our 5 volts. Remember this thing was fried when we first got it? I just popped it. So, self, what did you just do? Well, for one, I plugged in this. I also plugged in this. I bet that's not what caused it. I bet this has got a problem. So, let me swap this out. Is that a 4 amp fast? And we'll try it again without the soundboard plugged in. So I'm gonna throw that fuse back in there. And I'm gonna just, when I turn it on, I'm gonna watch it. Okay, it didn't blow. And the lights are flickering there, so yeah, we're booted up. We've got other lights going, so we've got lamps going. See if we get anything on the displays. Nothing on the displays. That's a little troubling. So we've got our high voltage. Huh. This dude has some kind of a serious short because it is causing the whole thing to kill the 12 volt use. I'm going to hit the service button here and see if we can get into some tests. You see it's cycling through. The service button isn't doing anything. So we still have some issues. Yeah, we got lots of fun issues. We still may have some problems on the NPU. How grody are those looking? Not very. I mean, pretty clean, to be honest. Probably helped to start by putting a bolt in there, get that thing grounded. Let me do that real quick. So I'm here in a situation where I got the game, it's booted. I see the track lights. Well, I haven't tried the coin switches, but I wouldn't know anyway if I wouldn't know because I don't have sound. Because if I plug in the soundboard, that does it. That blows my 12 volt fuse, which kills the 5 volts. So I'm not going to hear anything, and my displays are also not working. And I did have, I guess I should check it again. I did have the voltage up here, but even when I had the voltage up there, I never saw the I was going to say the credit dot, but the little high voltage dot in the bottom. Even when it's not booted, you can usually always see a little glow. It might be that 1 or 2 of these would be outgassed, but I doubt all 6 of them. So I don't think I'm getting the voltage over to this board. So I'm thinking to myself, you got to repin this anyway. You might as well go ahead and do it. And maybe that's going to take care of some of these other problems. Not going to take care of this one. That one could be hard to figure out because I mean, probably take this thing off and measure between 5 volt and ground on this board, and it's going to be a dead short. I mean, I could probably do that in the game. Like right now, I could probably measure between right there, ground and 5 volt. I bet it's a short. So it's a matter of finding that short on the board and replacing the component, and hopefully just one thing and not a whole bunch of things. So I'm measuring between the ground and the 5 volts, and it's 232. So this one might use 12 volts also. So maybe, yeah, there it is. So maybe it's between the 12 volts, because that's actually what it's blowing. Nope, no continuity there. So I don't know what the problem is. We'll deal with that later, but first I need to attack that and get that taken care of, and then hopefully the solenoid driver be done, except for I never did check those. I could have checked those when it was out, but I didn't. Probably need to check my voltage again. Maybe I'll do that real quick here. Just make sure I still got my voltages. That should be 175. It is 175. So I don't think I'm getting the voltage over there. If I got the schematic out, I can figure out which one of these pins are actually, so they've got they're not labeled high voltage. There's 5 volts, there's ground, and there's high voltage on those 3 test points, but I don't know which ones are which off the top of my head. All right, so I got that connector redone, plugged in. We'll do a smoke test, see if anything else new works. We got blinking, so that's good. Let's see if we got a dot. Still no. Oh, I heard a solenoid click. We didn't have that. Okay, maybe I didn't. I don't think I had all these solenoid plugs plugged in. I'd have them plugged in now. Let's see if that's locked on. I heard the coin. That was that released when I turned off. So yeah, it's got enough brains to lock on the coin chute. Let's see what the. Oh, so now the service button is working. I've got the blinking lights. I still don't have anything on the displays, which is a little troubling. That's probably the display test right there, the second one. Oh, these have resettable drop targets. Kind of cool. I think that was every single one. I mean, I never heard of a lapse. Huh. You see that? It's like alien. Just pierced that sucker. Okay. Well, that's fixed. So, main things left. Displays, and that dude has got to go. Don't know what to think about the display. So I don't think we got voltage over here to them. So we turn this racket off here real quick. I think I got to figure out, because we should have that little dot down here. Unless all 6 of them are just dead. I don't think that's the case. Surely not. I guess I could get one from the back. I'm gonna pull the card off here. I'm gonna figure out which one of those are the high voltage, and see if I've got high voltage and the 5 volts getting to the boards here. Okay, so on the displays, TP3 is ground, TP1 is 5, and TP2 is the 190, or I've got it set for 175. So I got the game booted up here. TP1, there's my 5, and TP3, that's the ground, right? Yep, that's the ground, and it's showing ground. And TP2, Donata. So I'm not getting my high voltage over here. You know, I never did was in a hurry to get this thing back in here and check my 5 volts. I never did refill the solder joints on this thing, so that could be the issue. Could be bad header pin. Getting off this board. I'm thinking I'm gonna pull this and look at it. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can start a game here real quick. It's adding credits, 5 credits. One of them stuck up. And that dude is locked down. It's actually not locked on, it just won't go home. I think probably that coil is probably fried, and I bet the sleeve is all melted, and so that plunger can't go back home because the plungers or the sleeve is so melted up it just has no place to go. Now that is we'll do something about that. Do we dare plug this thing in, see if it crashes? This thing could be a real pain, because I just a little bit ago, y'all saw I measured. It's not as short. It's like 200 ohms. I did not even touch that, and I jumped like it shocked me, but it didn't. I'm gonna try it one more time. Okay, I plugged it in. I'm gonna see if it. Maybe we'll look inside, see if we see the flash. There, it went. Yep. Don't need much diagnosis for that. So this board fries that sucker. So something bad on here. It's 5 o'clock, so it's definitely 5 o'clock somewhere. 5 o'clock right here. So I will worry about that tomorrow. All right, so it's next day. I got a whole new attitude here. Feeling fresh. I'm gonna yank the CPU and take off that old 40-year-old battery, 45-year-old battery, 42 or 43. Anyway, get rid of that and put on a modern coin battery. So for having the original battery, so that's 83. This thing is completely clean. I mean, just blows me away that this thing hasn't leaked. Because the vast majority of them of this vintage have. So get rid of it real quick here. If I can yank on that and heat it up at the same time.
I was just about to use my finger to push that out of there, and I was like, nope. Ooh, that was a little hot. All right. So generally speaking, I drill a hole. So I've got my little holder here. That's the negative, you can see, because it's tied. And the negative, it doesn't really matter, but it's labeled positive for this top piece. So the negative is this other one. So I want to put that one in that hole. So I'm going to just scribe a line. I'm going to drill a hole. I don't know if y'all can see, but I can see there's a trace above it and below it. So right in the middle of that scribe, I'm going to drill a hole, and I'm going to put this in just like that. And then because this is a non-rechargeable battery, I have to put a diode in here, a blocking diode, to keep this board from charging the battery that I'm putting in here. So I'm going to put, so this will be laying like that. And I'll put on the back side of the board, I'll put a diode between here and there, because that's the positive lead. So I guess the first thing I'll do is just shed myself of all the solder that's in these holes. Should I get out my Hacko and do this? No, I don't think so. It's done before I can reach over there and hit the button to heat it up. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a drill real quick. Okay, so I got a drill bit. I'm just gonna put it on this line here. Presto. And now, try not to burn myself too badly. Hold that with one hand. Get this at least tacked in without totally frying my finger on the back side. And this side needs to be pretty soldered in pretty well, because there's really not much holding it on this other side because there's no pad. But what I am going to do, I'll try to get rid of that. I should have cleaned that off a little bit better before I pulled it up, put it in there. So now I'm going to get a diode. And you want the electricity to run away from the battery, so it's like a check valve, so it'll allow the electricity to go that way, but it won't allow it to go that way. So you want it in like this. So I'm going to do something just like that, and I'll leave myself a tail, so I've got something to hold on to. It's not quite as hot, so I can push it up. I'll do this side first. And it doesn't matter, that's because I can always, once it dries or hardens, I can bend it over there. Ooh, that's going to just stay right where I want it. Almost. All right, and now just snip that extra off. Wow, these side cutters are seeing better days. Okay. So now put the battery in here. Put it in the correct orientation with the positive up, because that's the way I've got it oriented. So that should be good. I already looked at the header pins. They all look perfect. This board is like, wow, that's kind of hot. But it's working. I'm not going to change it. Anyway, I'm putting this back in the game, and then I am going to pull out that soundboard and see if we can figure out something on that, because that's a bigger issue. All right, so I threw the MPU back in there, and it was booted up fine. So I pulled this out. I'm just visually looking at it to see if I see anything that's totally fried, and I don't see anything. Just looking for something with a hole blown inside of it, or a cap that's totally bulged out. I don't see anything. I'm gonna get the multimeter out, and I'm gonna start measuring these diodes and transistors, and these op amps are probably suspect also. Something that's causing a pretty good short. I'm pretty sure this one had, yeah, it does have the 12 volts right there. So between, let me put this one horseshoe mode and say between ground and, let's see, we do not have a short there. That's, it's pretty much open. Power supply, that's definitely not shorted. 5 volts. Oh man, I don't see anything that would. What the heck? Oh, there's TP4. Let's see what TP4 is doing here for us. Make sure that's a good. Well, that's weird. Okay, so this, that did say ground, yes. That ground is, the edge of the board is not tied to that ground right there, as you can see. So let me try this again. That's open. Okay, that's what I measured in the game, 233 ohms. That may be a problem, but that may not be. I mean, have to dig out the schematics to look. But first, I'm gonna just put it on diode test. I'm gonna just go through here and check some of these. That looks like a pretty beefy one. That looks good, 0.52. I'll check, I thought there was some more in here. Yeah, there's some little bitty ones down here. 0.57. Looks good. All these little transistors. 7.5. Whoa. That doesn't look right. 0.09. Opposite orientation. I don't know. Doesn't seem right to me. See, 2.7, turn it around. It'll be like 0.7, yeah. Okay. And depending if they're PNP or NPN, you got to do it one way or the other. Whichever way you start with, it's always backwards. Oops, I had it right the first time. No, I didn't. Well, that's weird. I tell you what, I've got my leads wound up. I keep going in the same direction. I got to go back and forth. Okay. Usually if you see 2.5 or something like that, you turn them around, you're going to be about 0.7. That one's not the case. That's the only way I'm seeing 0.7. Usually there's two legs that you see the point, but not always. So that one could be all right. I think I've tested them all. So that one's, I don't know, I'm gonna put a question mark. I think that one's probably bad. We can measure resistance across these caps. They shouldn't be shorted. 2 kilo ohms is probably all right, I guess. I don't know. As long as we're in the kilo ohm range, we're probably safe from the short. I'm gonna dig up the schematics and figure out what that does in the circuit. Maybe figure out what part it is, and well, I guess I can see it. I can't really read it. 352N 5306, something, I don't know. I'm gonna look at the schematics here real quick. Actually, I want to, let's check this one here. I mean, this would be a prime suspect to, let me put a little diode mode again. Probably that center leg is probably the center, same as this. Yes, it is. Yeah, 0.29, that seems kind of funky. It could be a problem. It might not be. I mean, it's not really a transistor exactly. It's something akin to that, but not exactly. And these ones with the 5 legs, I don't know what to do with these things. Probably not looking for a short, or don't expect to see a short between any two of them. Just doing all combinations. Seems like it's mostly okay. I wonder if I've got one of these in the back. If I do, I could grab one of those, because I probably don't have one otherwise. Could maybe, and the other thing I could look and see what these values are on the one I've got in the back, which is probably, if I've got it in the back, it's going to be broken, but give me a chance. So I pulled up the schematics on this board here, and so 12 volts comes in here, and that one looked like a transistor, and I looked a little funny. That's that 7805. It's a 5-volt regulator. That's this one mounted right here. I have a 7805, so I can check, at least out of circuit, I can check the readings with that one there and kind of see how those look. And that Q7, that one that looked like it was shorted, the little transistor, I'm not exactly sure what it's doing, but it's dealing with 5 volts. So I think I'm going to start upstream of that. I'm going to check that 7805 versus the one I've got in my hand. I may just pull that 7805 out of the board and maybe just plug it in and see if it still knocks it down. And that would, I don't know. I'm gonna, one thing at a time. I'm gonna just measure this versus that and see how that works. Okay, I don't remember which way I went with this. Apparently the other way. 1.4.6, and yeah, it's not anything near like that. Now this is in circuit. I think I'm gonna just yank that out of there real quick, and I can compare them side by side too. All right, so now I can do a little bit more definitive test of these two games, or two parts. .6 or 0.7. Wow, it looks good. Well, no, it doesn't. It's very different. 0.65 and 1.4. 0.54 and 0.7. It definitely looks different. Way different. Let's do it the other way. Yeah. And let's go from side to side, 0.68. So that looked the same. Well, that's definitely different. So I'm gonna throw in this new one, and still have the problem with this one here. I'm real suspect. I may yank that out before I throw it back in the game too. So this one that had that near short in it, it's a 2N3905 per the schematics. It's actually 2N3906. I think it was slightly beefier. I had one more of them up here. I pulled them both out, checked them out of circuit. They test exactly the same. I think those are fine, but look what I found. If I do a diode test between there and there, if I can do this with one hand. Apparently cannot. Same rating. So I've got some kind of problem, apparently, or maybe I don't, on the board. I'm going to look what's across those two legs in the schematic. All right, so I'm seeing this. I went ahead and labeled this base, emitter, and collector. I'm seeing the near short between the collector and the emitter. So in the diagram, that's the collector and that's the emitter. So to go, and I've got the transistors out. So to go around there, I've got to go through a 68, 180, and then another 2.7, or that cap is bad, C4. So I'm going to measure these three resistors and look at that cap. Because if I just measure, let me show you. If I measure resistance right here, I only have 66 ohms, and it should be well more than that. So I'm going to measure those three resistors. So R23 should be 68. It should be right around here somewhere. I don't see it. There's R22. There's R23 right there. 66. Okay, that's good. R24. I thought I just saw that. Yeah, there it is. I need to keep my glasses on. So this one should be 180, 172, that's good. And R22 should be 2.7. And the C4, you know, it kind of looks bulgy, but these kind of caps, they always look kind of bulgy. So that one also showing 2.7 ohms. So maybe I don't quite get that. What's this U6? The chip here is the problem child, has a short. So like across that resistor, I'm getting 2.6 ohms. So let me measure on this, well, on this chip, between 5 and 7 is the same as between those 2 points on the board. Well, not quite, because I don't have those resistors. Let me measure between 5 and 7 on that chip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 7 right there in bullet. 2.7. So what the heck? 65. So I figured out, I had the base emitter collector mislabeled on the board, so that 68 was just between the collector and the base. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I don't think there ever was. So I'm gonna put these two back in the board, and I'm gonna throw it in the game, because I don't think anything wrong with this. I don't think anything wrong with this section for sure. This one, well, pretty for sure. I definitely measured different. It wasn't a dead short, but it was compromised, let's say. Throw these back in there and give it a shot. All right,
right, so I just threw those two transistors back in there, got them mounted in here, and let's watch fuse. I mean, that's the thing to watch when I turn it on. See if it smokes it. Hey, it didn't. That's progress. I don't have the speaker plugged in. I left that off. Well, it's booted with that thing plugged in. That's the first time it's done that. May not have any sounds, but normally a game would make little sounds when it first comes up. Coining up. So we're in a game now. Should definitely have some sounds. Whoa. That just, I just touched it like that, and that shorted it out when I touched the ground plane to the, like that. I think that probably blew the fuse, because now it's, well, that's an interesting symptom. Yeah, that blew the fuse because I didn't have it screwed in. But that ground plane is not attached to the ground, wherever the ground is. Yeah, this here. So I didn't even mess with the ground, putting the screw in there, because I didn't need to. But apparently, something's going on funny. So I've got this on the bench. I was looking like, what the heck's going on? So first off, the ground of this board is pin 13 here. There's no wire for pin 13 on the connector. And I don't think there ever was, because I think that connector is original. I think all the wiring on it's original. So I just think that's the way it was made. So as soon as this thing grounds, it blows that fuse. So I did a whole bunch of testing here. I hooked on a multimeter one side with the ground, and I did one side with the ground. Just probe around and see where I could find a short. And what I found was the C8, C9, and C10, they are grounded, or they're shorted to ground on both sides. And whoops, that's my calendar. Let me get back over here to, so C8, C10, and C8, C9, and C10, they go from this 12 volts on one side to ground on the other. So one of those, or maybe all three of them, are shorted. So I don't know which one is shorted. The tantalum caps are real bad about shorting, but my experience, usually when they blow, there's a hole inside of them. So the only way to tell which one's the bad one is to, one at a time, desolder them, or just nip them out of the circuit. But I'm gonna desolder them, that way I can reuse the ones that I don't have to throw away. So one at a time, I'm gonna take these out and find the bad one. Hopefully it's just one of them. So I just desoldered one end of that tantalum cap, and I still got it on. That got rid of it, because before these were a dead short. So that's my, yeah, so that's the bad one. All right, well, let me take this out the rest of the way. I probably got a 4.7 tantalum cap. If not, I got a 4.7 regular cap, which will be fine too. And maybe this thing will boot up. Okay, so I got it plugged in here, and then you can see, like, there's 15, 14, 13. There's no wire, and that's original wiring there. I don't have a screw in there because I'm being lazy, but it's touching, so we'll see if it smokes it right away. Oh, I better put a fuse in there real quick. Hey, it didn't blow. Let me push on here a little harder. That was lit until it finished booting, and then it went out. Oh, I don't have the speaker plugged in. Well, maybe it's working, we just don't know it. Let me try rebooting one more time. Let's see what happens here. Did it blow my fuse again? Oh yeah, it did. I was probing around, and it looks like this little tantalum cap is probably shorted too. There's a short right across there. There's not across this one. So I'm gonna yank that sucker out and swap it out too. But I gotta run for now. I got a house call I gotta do, so I guess I'll get back to this tomorrow. All right, so it's about 20 hours later, and swapped out that cap. I checked the rest of the tantalum caps, and none of them are shorted. You know, when I first put this on the bench, I went through and did a bunch of testing, and I checked the caps except for the tantalum caps. That was a mistake. So anyway, I'm gonna put this in there and try it again, and hopefully we'll have some luck here. All right, so it's in the game. I purposefully didn't. It's not grounded. It's floating. It's on the little plastic studs. So I'm gonna turn it on. Keep an eye on this fuse here. Okay, it didn't blow right away. And I saw a couple flickers there. Oh, I heard a bong. It's making sound. I might have fixed it. Now the question is, can I put a screw in there, or does that fry it? I wanna queue up a game here. My goodness, maybe we got lucky here. Yeah, it's working. Let's hit some. Let me turn it up a little bit. Not very loud. There might be another volume on the door. There is. That one's pretty scratchy. Pretty cool sounds. All right, well, I'm gonna call that a success. I'm gonna put a screw in there and up the top there, and wow, I was about ready to give up. For those that are wondering, there is an alternative to this. I mean, there's a new board that you can buy. Actually, just take another one over here. Weebly sells one on his website. It's only like $105 shipped. So, you know, in case you're not wanting to waste hours messing around with it. But, yeah, I probably got an hour and a half in there total, thinking around. Anyway, yeah, and really it ought to be recapped, but I'm not going to do that. What next? We need to go through the Playfield. I think most of the stuff back here is working. Yeah, it's Playfield time all day long. Well, this is pretty incredible in terms of the bulbs. Like everything, I think except for that 5X. I think oh, nope. There's 3 right there that don't work. And there's a couple of GIs in the back box. It's crazy because normally, like, well, there's another GI there. Normally, like, almost all the bulbs would be dead, but you know, I went through and hit all the switches. I didn't hit that one. Oh, I'm not in a game, but I went through and hit all the switches, and all the switches worked except for that one right there. I'm not sure all the drop targets are resetting properly. I think one of them, like this one here, may fall down. Not sure. I think all the rest of the solenoids are working. Let me start a game up here. So that 10 seems to hang up there. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, now it's working. It was just dirty. Just hitting it a few times, like, kind of washes that switch off. It's still not. It needs to be cleaned, but it's the wiring is good. It's just probably the switch. So this flipper is obviously a big problem, and I think that is an issue. I'm going to go through the solenoid test. So it can do that. Maybe that's supposed to be like that. I mean, when it popped them all up, it all came up. Let me watch it again. Yeah. I don't know. Seems like when you start a game, the 10 always stays down. So I don't know about that, if that's like normal or something. I guess I'm going to be too concerned about it. Start a game again. See, it leaves the 10 up. But it's lit like it wants you to. I think it's on purpose. Yeah, oh, so it's 1, now it's 2. Now there's 3. Okay, so that's on purpose. Yeah.
So it gets harder every time. They don't come back up? Oh, then you have to spell all those. I got you. Okay. And now it's back to the 10. So that's all working. So really, just clean a switch, a few bulbs, and let's check out that flipper. I bet that coil's toast. I'm not sure, man. It's stuck in there. If I move it, it's moving the whole coil. So I'm gonna have to take it apart. I'm guessing it's melted in there, but the coil itself doesn't look hot, so it's nasty. So I'm not sure, but I'm gonna take it apart and get my eyes on it. So when I took off the coil stop, it is shot. Just about to fall apart. In fact, it did fall apart. And look down. I mean, it's stuck in there, but it's not melted. So look inside of there. If you can see, there's a little piece of metal that is wedged inside of the coil sleeve. So that, I think that's part of this coil stop. Busted off, got wedged in there. So I'm gonna try to beat this that way and get it out and hopefully get that wedge out of there. Maybe salvage this coil. The coil's probably all right if I can get that hunk of metal out of there and then get a new sleeve in it, it'll be fine. Otherwise, getting a new coil. Well, I got the plunger out and you can see it's whatever that was, I just bent it down on the side. So it's like jammed into the side. I'm not convinced I'm gonna get that sleeve out, but if it's gonna come out, I got the tool to get it. This is the tool to get the sleeves out. I mean, it fits in there, it has a lip, and you get a hammer and try to beat it out. So I'm gonna do that right now. Well, it's really stiff. I did see so that was part of the coil sleeve that was jammed in the side there. I thought it was metal, but it was just plastic. But I'm having a hard time beating this. I'm using a plastic mallet, but I have to hold it. I have to support it from the bottom. Otherwise, you'll just blow out the bottom of the coil, and it's really hurting my hand. So I'm gonna get a rag. I'm gonna get a metal hammer, and I'm gonna really wail on it. Probably tear up this coil, but if I break it, it's already broken. So, well, I thought I had it licked, and it blew apart on me. That's what happens sometimes when you get to wail on them, and not much you can do. I mean, I was holding the back side of it and hammering the top, but it's still busted open. So I'm gonna get my tool out of here, and I'll have to get a new coil. I probably have one of these laying around. So I got that flipper going, replaced a few bulbs. I think everything's working. Well, obviously this saucer is not working, but it's just that switch, because if I use my finger, the ball just doesn't sit down there deep enough. So that switch needs to be adjusted so that it's a little more sensitive. And I wonder if these are controlled lights, because that wasn't working, and then I hit let me start a new game. Nah, maybe it's just a bad bulb or bad socket, more likely. Anyway, so I'm gonna fix that switch there, and I think so. There's that switch, and that switch there is a little gimpy too. And then I'm gonna just do kind of a cursory cleaning of this game, and I'm gonna tear it down. Really, only just take off basically the top plastics, just so I can get to the rubbers, put some new rubbers on it, clean it, wax it, rubbers, and call this one good. So I got this thing put all back together. I went ahead with black rubbers. I think it looks better than the white wood, just because the game's, I didn't really clean it very well. I just did a kind of superficial cleaning. It looks a lot better than it did, but it's not really clean. Still like wax all over the post and everything. And the white would just be like very contrasting with all the other dirt that's left. So anyway, I just played a game. It's actually a lot funner game than I thought it would be. I mean, it's really a shooter's game. These drop targets are really pretty fun, how they reset and everything. Don't quite understand all those three things there, or those there. This one just seems to be a ladder for your extra ball. Anyway, I'm going to put you all in the stand and play a game. All right, here we go. Oh, the sound effects are pretty cool. Shoot, I don't have a ball in the game. Well, crap. Hold on. Okay, we'll try it again here. Saucer's working better. Ooh, I nailed that sucker. Yeah, that shot there on the left kind of, ooh, little 8-ball deluxe-ish in terms of the extra ball. Those three banks up there reminds me of
Firepower 2. Not Firepower. Oh, I got it. That's right here. Not Firepower. Geez, the EM was real popular. Oof, yeah, I got it reversed. I should have nudged. Second ago, I got all the way through that, including the stand-up behind it. There we go. There we go. Oh, I could have had that one. Can't think of the name of the game. Had the spinner in the middle. There's a 3-ball lock for an EM, which is totally cool. Some of y'all are thinking, you know, I already what it known. Sorry for hitting the camera there. That top one is hard to hit with that flipper. Almost. Oh, not even close. Tilt works. Yeah, it's got a good tilt sound. You know you tilted. Oh, come on now. I thought I had that fixed. Yeah, it's going to need some more attention. It's a little gimpy still. Okay, I got the hard one. I don't think I've ever got all 3 of them. I act like I've played this a lot. I've only played it a couple times. Oh, death. Oh! I put a big fat rubber there so you know, if I was thinking I could have nudged it. You know, there's 2 sizes of those little small post ones. I put the big one on there. Make it easier to save that. Yeah, that's no count. I cleaned that switch. I may have to swap it out. What happens is they're gold-plated switches, and some it's either worn out or somebody's used a regular metal file on it. And yeah, I cleaned it and the honing stick, and yeah, that's not gonna work. So, well, not the best video, but anyway, I'm gonna clean that one, and then this one is done. And so I hope y'all like. Oh, wow, it found itself. Maybe I can finish this game. If I can stay off the saucer. Volleyball 5. Triple match. Not triple match, high score, triple credit. Yeah, I was thinking of the game. It's Fireball. So Fireball 2 has the same kind of little feature up here. Anyway, so that kind of reminded me of that game. So anyway, if you like the video, click like and subscribe. And I think I'm going to probably try to just swap that switch out if I've got one.